Let's talk real quickly about 5 simple tips for mentoring someone in your life. We're talking about discipleship, biblical mentoring, and if you remember these 5 simple tips, I think you'll be more effective and more productive in your mentoring. Tip number 1, simply model. Don't forget that a pursuit of God starts with you. You're pursuing God first. You're learning how to honor God in your own life. You're learning how to trust Him more. You're learning how to help others. Model that every day. Don't be perfect at it, because you're not going to be perfect at it. Just model it for the person that you're helping, because then you can just help them, invite them to follow you. And that's the second tip. Simply invite. Learn how to have an invitational lifestyle. That's how Paul said it in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. He said, "And you should follow me as I follow Christ." Look at how simple he made it. He's just inviting people to follow him. He's already doing it, and he's inviting people to follow him as well. So be invitational in your life. Be invitational. Invite people to church. Invite people into mentoring relationships. Invite people to do what you're doing, to walk alongside you as you pursue God. That way you won't be condescending or you won't act like a know-it-all. You're just being invitational. Here's the third tip. Simply teach. And what we mean by that is, don't make it complicated. Don't try to look like you know it all and have it all figured out. Don't use big words just to make yourself look really smart. Be simple. Keep it super simple for people. They can go into more intense truths as they have the ability to, but if that's how you start, then people aren't going to be able to pursue God alongside of you. So keep it simple. I always like to anchor everything in those 3 truths of foundations. Truth 1, truth 2, truth 3. I always try to anchor stuff back to that, because frameworks help me to understand God's truth, and it also helps other people to understand God's truth as well. So keep it simple in your teaching, and then not only will other people be able to learn it, but they'll be able to teach it as well, and it'll become more reproducible. And here's the 4th tip. Simply listen. So don't do all the talking when you're mentoring somebody. Learn to listen. Listen to them so that you can hear whether they're understanding you. Listen to them so that they can hear themselves. Listen to them so that you know what truth to share next week. So simply listen. Learn how to be a listener, not just talking all the time. A real great thing to do is to encourage them to set up the conversation. You send them a link from the resources and you say, "Hey, when we get together, I want you to explain this to me." And then you listen to them. Simply listen. That's a great tip to keep your mentoring simple. And here's the last tip. Simply trust. Trust the process, and trust more than anything, God Himself. Trust that God cares more about the person you're trying to help than even you do. You can only do your part. You can speak the truth in love, but at the end of the day, you can't make them do anything. That's where you need to trust that God's got His part down. He's the one who's going to take that seed and continue to convict their heart to learn to live out that truth and to want to live out that truth. But that person also has their part to play. They have to step out and pursue God. They have to decide whether they're going to continue to pursue God in their life, and if they really want to live this out the way that you're encouraging them to and inviting them to. I love how Moses said it in Deuteronomy 30. He said, "Today I've given you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Oh, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live." You can make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying Him, and committing yourself firmly to Him. This is the key to your life. That's really the message for you as a mentor. And if you keep it simple, then you really can help other people pursue God.